Hi everybody, Fred Heiser out here in Orange County, California with U.S. Law member firm Kleindienst, and I'm here to spend a few minutes going over how our retail and hospitality industry is living with COVID and figuring out together what normal now looks like for our industry, because it's certainly not what it used to be. Since Governor Newsom ordered our state into lockdown in March, California retailers have been operating in a state of flux, bound sometimes by conflicting guidance from state, county, and local authorities. Lately, California introduced a new tier system based on confirmed COVID cases for businesses to apply in individual counties. But COVID numbers don't always coincide between state and county tallies, which has led to more confusion. And as our industry continues to work hard to get customers back in the door, keep in mind that the expectation from our customers of what service looks like has changed. Many guests are now looking for ways you're taking care of them, protecting them, and making sure they're safe. So you need to be aware of that. And because of our reach, our industry is a lot more in the public eye for both customer criticism and customer praise. And this is one of those situations where, because there's so many differing views of what a business should or shouldn't be doing, that it's very difficult for a business to please everyone with their policies. Which means that, unfortunately, employees who are out there working hard have to deal with people who are not always at their best. So while it's important to stay on top of all of the regulations coming out, with proper policies and procedures in place to address them, spend time making sure you're implementing policies that properly support and bolster your employees, as well as serving your customers well. This includes conducting trainings, continuing to enhance protocols for sanitation, and refining your process to work with what are at times juxtaposed positions between the city, county, and state regulations. And that's where a lot of the legal challenges and developments will start to impact things right now. Some states have already passed laws enacting certain COVID business immunities. In the California legislature, a bill was introduced in response to the pandemic designed to give businesses immunity from certain civil liabilities. But this legislation is still pending with no set timetable. Legislation out here in California, as well as other states, is still evolving, and federal immunities may even be in the works, but no one should expect absolute immunity. Immunity is unlikely to protect companies from claims of gross negligence, recklessness, or intentional harm. And plaintiffs' attorneys may simply plead around negligence and instead assert that a company was reckless because it failed to do something like implement proper procedures to prevent COVID exposure despite well-publicized standards. And that's why it's so important to have your proper procedures in place. In many cases, we've started off with a more localized approach, and then as you see the writing on the wall, policies become more universal. One example is with dine-in areas, salad bars, and self-service areas. At first we saw a few cities and states start to shut those things down, but again you could see the writing on the wall, and ultimately the best practice was to shut them all down. So in situations similar to this, continue to be conservative with your policies and consider implementing the most stringent ones all around. Err on the side of caution. If you haven't already, you need to revisit at least 3 separate protocols. First, your sanitation and social distancing protocols. Second, your employment practices. And third, your operational updates with things like signage kits, information about new policies, and links to any emergency orders. To do this, consider utilizing experts for whatever area you're addressing. And by this I mean experts both in the more traditional sense, like experts that specialize in hygiene or cleanliness protocols, but also perhaps internally. Other team members who can help with procedures and suggestions on best practices when it comes to your internal things like hosting, registers, or check-ins. To determine how clean you should be, continue to follow or exceed CDC guidelines or standards, continue to follow or exceed local, state, and federal guidelines, and retain documents that confirm your enforcement of these procedures. Finally, communication is critical. Especially with employees, it's hard to over-communicate. Keep your team posted on what's going on, where they can find information, what's happening, and who to contact for questions. And this probably goes without saying, but thank those team members out there recognizing their hard work, as well as their commitment and patience dealing with customers who are under a great deal of stress. Those team members are the ones making sacrifices to be the face of your company, and showing appreciation for them goes a long way. When you're out here in Orange County, be sure to make a stop at Laguna Beach and go to Zinc Cafe, a local hotspot for breakfast, brunch, or coffee. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe, and I can't wait to see you all in person again once this COVID thing gets behind us. Take care.